Have you ever wondered how some women can cook an entire feast without measuring a single ingredient? Preserve food for months without a fridge, and bake bread that tastes like heaven all before they turn 15? Today, I'm revealing the 12 cooking skills every Amish woman masters early. And number 9 will blow your mind. Welcome to Amish Forge, where we uncover the timeless wisdom of simple living. In Amish communities, cooking isn't just about food. It's about self-sufficiency, family, and tradition. While we're ordering takeout, Amish girls are mastering skills that most professional chefs never learn. Let's dive into these 12 incredible abilities that transform ordinary girls into culinary masters. Today, we're sharing 12 essential cooking skills that Amish women master from childhood. These aren't just techniques, they're survival skills passed down through generations. Let's explore each one and discover the wisdom behind simple living. Skill number 1. Bread baking from scratch. Let's start with skill number 1. Bread baking from scratch. And when I say from scratch, I mean completely by hand. No bread machines, no store-bought dough, nothing. This is the foundation of every Amish kitchen, and it's the first major skill young girls master. Imagine this, an 8-year-old girl standing on a stool, her small hands covered in flour, kneading dough with the confidence of a professional baker. She doesn't need to measure anything. She knows exactly how the dough should feel, how it should smell, and when it's ready. This isn't luck, it's thousands of hours of practice starting from when she could barely reach the counter. Amish women understand bread on a molecular level. They know how gluten develops, why yeast needs warmth to activate, and the exact moment dough has been kneaded enough. They can tell if bread will rise properly just by touching it. Most importantly, they can bake 6 to 8 perfect loaves in a single morning to feed their large families. Every single loaf golden, fluffy, and delicious. But here's what makes this skill truly remarkable. They do it all without thermometers, timers, or precise measurements. They rely on their senses, their experience, and knowledge passed down from their mothers and grandmothers. The smell of the yeast, the texture of the dough, the sound of the crusties are their guides. In a world where most people can't even make toast without burning it, Amish women are creating artisan-quality bread before breakfast. This skill teaches patience, precision, and respect for the process. It's not just about making bread. It's about understanding that good things take time, effort, and love. Skill number 2, canning and preserving. Moving on to skill number 2, canning and preserving. Now, this might sound simple, but trust me, it's one of the most critical skills for survival in Amish communities. Picture this. No refrigerator, no freezer, no grocery store down the street. When summer brings an abundance of tomatoes, beans, and berries, you can't just toss them in the fridge. You need to preserve them to feed your family through the harsh winter months. This is where canning becomes absolutely essential. Amish girls learn the science of food preservation by age 12. They master water bath canning for high-acid foods like fruits and pickles. They understand pressure canning for lancid vegetables and meats. They know exactly how long to process each jar, what temperature kills harmful bacteria, and which foods need which method to stay safe. But it goes beyond just canning. They make jams, jellies, fruit preserves, pickled vegetables, and relishes. They can identify spoilage instantly, a bulging lid, a strange smell, or discolored contents. These girls understand that one mistake in canning could make their family sick. So precision isn't optional. Walk into any Amish basement, and you'll see rows upon rows of beautifully preserved food jewel-toned jars of peaches, ruby red tomatoes, golden corn, deep purple beets. Each jar represents hours of work, but more importantly, it represents security. When winter comes and nothing grows, these preserved foods become lifelines. This isn't a hobby or a trendy farm-to-table movement. For Amish families, canning and preserving is how they survive year-round with dignity and abundance. Skill number 3, butchering and meat processing. Now we come to skill number 3, butchering and meat processing. And I'll be honest, this is where most modern people would completely check out. But in Amish communities, this skill is absolutely non-negotiable. Here's the reality. Amish families raise their own animals for food. They don't buy pre-cut, plastic-wrapped meat from grocery stores. When it's time to process a chicken, a pig, or a cow, the entire family participates, and young women play a crucial role by their teenage years. Amish girls know how to humanely process chickens, understand different cuts of beef and pork, cure ham and bacon, make sausages from scratch, and render lard for cooking and baking. They learn which parts are best for roasting, which for grinding, and which for making broths. Nothing absolutely nothing, goes to waste. This skill creates a profound connection to food that most of us have completely lost. When you've raised an animal, cared for it, and then processed it yourself, you develop deep respect and gratitude. You don't waste a single ounce. You honor that animal by using every part meat, bones, organs, fat, even the skin. Amish women also master meat preservation without refrigeration. They know how to salt, cure, smoke, and properly store meat so it lasts for months. They understand food safety instinctively because their family's health depends on it. In our modern world, we're completely disconnected from where our meat comes from. Amish women live with this reality every single day, and it makes them incredibly knowledgeable, resourceful, and respectful cooks. Skill number 4. Pie making and pastry. Skill number 4 is absolutely legendary Amish pie making and pastry. If you've ever tasted an Amish pie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're missing out on one of life's greatest pleasures. Amish pies aren't just good, they're extraordinary. And there's a reason for that. Young Amish women don't learn to make pies from a cookbook or a YouTube video. They learn by making hundreds, sometimes thousands of pies throughout their childhood and teenage years. By the time an Amish woman is 16, she can make perfect flaky pie crust without measuring a single ingredient. She knows the ratio of flour to butter by touch. She understands that cold hands and cold butter create the flakiest crust. She never overworks the dough because she knows it will become tough. They master every type of pie imaginable: shoofly pie, apple pie, cherry pie, custard pie, pumpkin pie, and dozens more. Each pie has its own technique, its own secret, its own timing. They know how to crimp edges beautifully, how to create lattice tops that look like art, and how to prevent soggy bottoms. But here's the most impressive part. They can make a pie blindfolded. Seriously, the muscle memory is so deep, the knowledge so ingrained, that they don't need to think about it anymore. Their hands just know when church gatherings happen or when guests arrive unexpectedly. An Amish woman can whip up a perfect pie in under an hour. It's not just baking, it's an art form perfected through generations of practice and passion. Skill number 5, vegetable gardening and harvesting. Moving to skill number 5, vegetable gardening and harvesting. And this is where the connection between kitchen and earth becomes crystal clear. Before an Amish woman can cook amazing meals, she needs to know how to grow amazing ingredients. This isn't about buying organic vegetables from Whole Foods. This is about understanding the soil, the seasons, and the seeds themselves. Amish girls learn gardening from the moment they can walk. They understand crop rotation. Why? You can't plant tomatoes in the same spot every year. They know companion planting, which vegetables grow better together, and which ones should never be neighbors. They learn when to plant, when to water, when to weed, and most importantly, when to harvest for peak flavor and nutrition. They also master seed saving. At the end of each season, they collect seeds from their best plants to grow next year's garden. This creates stronger, more adapted varieties over time. It's agricultural wisdom that goes back centuries. But here's what really sets them apart. They cook seasonally because they have to. They don't expect fresh tomatoes in December or asparagus in August. They eat what the earth provides in each season, and this creates incredibly diverse, nutritious meals throughout the year. When spring brings tender lettuce and peas, summer explodes with tomatoes and corn, fall offers squash and root vegetables, and winter means stored potatoes and canned goods. Amish women adapt their cooking accordingly. This deep connection to growing cycles makes them not just better cooks, but better eaters. They understand that food has seasons, rhythms, and natural timing that can't be rushed or artificially created. Skill number 6. Butter and cheese making. Skill number 6 is pure magic butter and cheese making. I know it sounds simple, but turning liquid milk into solid butter and aged cheese is actual food alchemy. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a young Amish girl sitting with a wooden churn, rhythmically moving the dasher up and down. She's been doing this for 20 minutes, and suddenly, magic happens. The cream separates, and butter begins to form. She knows exactly when to stop, how to wash the butter, and how to salt it perfectly for preservation. This isn't something you learn from a 5-minute TikTok video. This is hands-on knowledge gained from making butter dozens of times. Amish women understand the exact temperature cream needs to be, how long to churn, and how to get that perfect, spreadable consistency. But butter is just the beginning. They also make fresh cheese, cottage cheese, farmer's cheese, and even aged varieties. They understand bacterial cultures, rennet, temperature control, and the delicate timing required for each type of cheese. It's food science without the textbook. Here's why this matters. When you make your own butter, you never waste a drop of cream. When you make your own cheese, you understand why artisan cheese costs what it does. You develop respect for the process and appreciation for quality. In Amish kitchens, there's always fresh butter on the table and homemade cheese in the cellar. These aren't luxury items, they're everyday essentials, made with skill, patience, and knowledge passed down through generations. This dairy wisdom is nearly extinct in our modern world. But in Amish communities, it's kept alive by every young woman who learns to churn. Skill number 7. Cooking without recipes. Now we reach skill number 7. And honestly, this one is a complete game changer: cooking without recipes. Think about how most people cook today. They pull out their phones, scroll through Pinterest, watch a YouTube tutorial, follow exact measurements, set precise timers, and hope everything turns out okay. Now imagine cooking without any of that. No recipes, no measurements, no guidance, just your knowledge, your senses, and your instincts. That's exactly how Amish women cook. They don't need recipes because they've internalized thousands of hours of cooking experience. They understand ratios instinctively: how much flour to liquid makes bread versus cake versus biscuits. They know flavor profiles, which spices complement which ingredients. When something needs more salt or a touch of sweetness, watch an Amish woman cook, and you'll see her add a pinch of this, a handful of that, tasting and adjusting as she goes. She's not guessing. She's using deeply ingrained knowledge. That's become second nature. This skill comes from starting young and cooking constantly. By the time they're teenagers, they've made the same dishes hundreds of times. They know what properly kneaded dough feels like, what correctly seasoned soup tastes like, and what perfectly baked bread smells like. This intuitive cooking is actually superior to recipe following in many ways. It allows for adaptation. You're missing an ingredient. You know what can substitute? If something doesn't taste quite right, you know how to fix it. If portions need adjusting, you can scale naturally. It's cooking as a language, not following instructions. It's the difference between reading music and truly understanding music, and it only comes from years of practice and deep, hands-on experience. Skill number 8. Wood stove and fire management. Skill number 8 is something most modern cooks never even consider: wood stove and fire management. And let me tell you, this completely changes everything about cooking. Imagine trying to bake a perfect cake without a temperature dial. Imagine simmering soup without being able to adjust a knob. Imagine roasting meat without any way to control exact heat. That's the reality Amish women face every single day on. They've mastered it completely. Amish kitchens use wood-burning stoves, which means understanding fire becomes absolutely essential. These women know how to build the right kind of fire for different cooking tasks. They understand heat zones, where on the stovetop is hottest for boiling, where is cooler for gentle simmering, and where is perfect for keeping food warm. They learn how to bank a fire overnight so coals are ready for breakfast cooking. They know exactly how much wood to add and when to add it. They understand drafts, airflow, and how weather affects their fire. It's part art, part science, and completely essential. Baking in a wood-fired oven requires even more skill. Without a thermometer, they judge oven temperature by how quickly flour browns, by the feel of heat on their hand, or by how long they can hold their arm inside. They know where to place pies for even baking, and how to rotate bread for perfect crusts. This ancient skill creates cooks who truly understand heat as their most important ingredient. They don't rely on technology, they rely on knowledge, experience, and their own well-trained senses. It's cooking at its most fundamental and most impressive level. Skill number 9. Fermentation and pickling. Fermentation and pickling are not just cooking techniques in Amish homes, they are survival skills passed down through generations. From a very young age, Amish women learn how to preserve food naturally without relying on refrigeration or chemicals. This skill allows families to enjoy vegetables and flavors long after the harvest season ends. Amish women master the art of fermenting cabbage into sauerkraut, cucumbers into crisp pickles, and even turning milk into cultured products using time-tested methods. They understand the balance of salt, temperature, and time. Too much or too little of any one element can ruin an entire batch. Large ceramic crocks, wooden tools, and glass jars are commonly used, keeping the process simple and natural. What makes this skill especially powerful is patience. Fermentation cannot be rushed. Amish women learn to trust the process, checking their jars daily and listening to subtle signs like bubbling or aroma changes. These foods not only last for months, but also provide important probiotics that support digestion and overall health. In a world of instant food, this slow and careful method stands out. Fermentation and pickling teach discipline, respect for food, and deep knowledge of nature skills Amish women master early and carry with them for life. Skill number 10. Soup and stock making. Soup and stock making is one of the most essential cooking skills Amish women learn early in life. In large Amish families, soups are more than comfort food. They are a practical way to feed many mouths while wasting nothing. Amish women are taught to use every part of an ingredient. Vegetable scraps, leftover bones, and herbs are slowly simmered to create rich, nourishing stocks. Nothing is thrown away. These stocks become the base for hearty soups that can stretch a small amount of meat into multiple meals, from chicken noodle soup to beef and barley. Amish soups are thick, filling, and deeply flavorful. The cooking process is slow, often lasting hours, allowing flavors to fully develop. Amish women learn how to judge doneness by sight, smell, and taste rather than timers or measurements. This skill also teaches planning and resource management. A single pot of soup can feed a family for lunch, then be reheated for dinner, or even improved the next day. During cold winters, these soups provide warmth, nutrition, and comfort. Soup and stock making reflects the Amish values of simplicity, thrift, and care. By mastering this skill early, Amish women ensure their families are well-fed, healthy, and deeply connected to traditional home cooking. Skill number 11. Meal planning for large families. Meal planning for large families is a skill Amish women begin learning at a very young age, with families often consisting of 8, 10, or even more members. Cooking without a plan is simply not an option. Amish women learn how to plan meals days and sometimes weeks in advance. They consider what ingredients are available from the garden, pantry, or cellar and design meals that are filling, affordable, and balanced. Every meal must stretch far without sacrificing nutrition. This skill involves careful budgeting and portion control. Amish women know exactly how much flour, meat, or vegetables are needed to feed a crowd. Leftovers are planned intentionally, often reused in soups, casseroles, or next-day meals. Timing is another important part of this skill. Meals must be ready around farm work, school schedules, and church gatherings. Amish women coordinate cooking, baking, and food preparation with remarkable efficiency. Meal planning also reduces stress. By knowing what will be cooked each day, Amish households run smoothly. This skill teaches organization, discipline, and responsibility, qualities that Amish women carry throughout their lives. In a modern world overwhelmed by last-minute meals, Amish women show how thoughtful planning keeps families nourished and united around the table. Skill number 12. Traditional holiday and celebration. Cooking. Traditional holiday and celebration cooking is a deeply respected skill among Amish women. From weddings to church gatherings and seasonal holidays, food plays a central role in bringing the community together. Amish women learn early how to prepare large quantities of traditional dishes such as homemade breads, pies, roasts, noodles, and casseroles. These meals are not just about taste, they carry cultural meaning and family history. Holiday cooking often begins days in advance. Dough is prepared, meats are slow-cooked, and desserts are baked in large batches. Amish women work together, often side by side, turning cooking into a shared experience rather than a solo task. Precision and consistency are essential. Every dish must meet expectations because these recipes have been passed down for generations. Amish women learn to replicate flavors exactly, relying on memory rather than written recipes. More than anything, this skill teaches hospitality. Food is a way to serve others and strengthen community bonds. A well-prepared holiday meal reflects care, respect, and tradition. By mastering celebration cooking early, Amish women preserve their culture and ensure that every gathering feels warm, abundant, and meaningful just as it has for centuries. If you enjoyed discovering these timeless Amish cooking skills, like the video, subscribe for more hidden traditions, and comment which skill surprised you the most.